Hi, it's about 975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version on Xbox. And today I want to talk about something that I see a lot of misinformation about. In the background you're going to see me fight Basti. Seems like a good dude. He is from that squadron that calls everyone griefers and gankers and that, but he seems like a good dude. I had a fun 1v1 with him. As you'll see, everyone else stays as a square, they're just spectating. This was just a 1v1. He was a bit keen to get it started. I was doing a pass and go, but you know, it's all in good fun. Now, I see a lot of confusion over why Elite Dangerous is a peer-to-peer network and how it works, and what parts of Elite Dangerous is peer-to-peer. You will see messages from Blaze, but that's because he's giving advice to Dory, who's fighting Tango in a different part of the system. Recently, I've criticised someone for combat logging, and well, I've always done videos of people combat logging, and the leader of this squadron has got very narky about it not being cheating. Now, the reason it's cheating and the reason why the developers call it an unintended exploit is because Elite Dangerous works on a hybrid peer-to-peer network. So in this fight, somebody in this instance, there's 4 people in this instance, and one of the 4 of us will be the host of this fight, and their Xbox will be the host. Now, if you switch your Xbox off, you break connection with that host. Now, the servers, when it comes to Elite Dangerous, it's basically the transaction server and the server that keeps track of the universe. The other stuff is all handled by a hybrid peer-to-peer system, and there's handovers that happen between peer-to-peer instances. You remember if you played Call of Duty, or if you've played any peer-to-peer shooter, you'll know that sometimes when there's a host change, the game will pause and tell you there's a host change, and then there'll be a pause and awkwardness. In Elite Dangerous, there is no information about the handover of peer-to-peer. You just get some freezing. So, for example, if I'm dropping in on a fight that's involving a bunch of Americans and Australians, it's going to take a while before it finds the best host to host Europeans with Australians with Americans, and and that's why there's a pause before you drop in. Now, I did recently do a text to somebody explaining some of this, because they'd been seeing some things that were funky. They sent me some clips where they thought funky things were happening and people were combat logging, and I had to point out that no, it's usually problems with the peer-to-peer handover. Now, this is going to happen more and more with this squadron in particular, because their leadership is encouraging people to engage in blocking everybody, or blocking a large majority of the community. Anyone they consider to be a ganker, which appears to be anyone that does power play, anyone that pirates, anyone that does PvP in any way, shape or form. They seem to consider a lot of people to be gankers or griefers, even if all they do is engage in power play. Now, this is what I'm on about. So here I'm fighting Basti. This is earlier in the evening. I was chasing after him with my Anaconda, and he was in his vat. And as you can see, he's taking no damage whatsoever. He takes no damage for a large period of this fight. Now, the problem is, it's probably because he is in instance with somebody who has got one of my wingmates blocked. And while the game is trying to resolve that conflict, I'm not able to inflict damage upon him or his drives. Now, if you actually watch this clip in its entirety, you'll realise that had I had the full 40 seconds that I should have had, I would have probably easily taken out his drives here. But he gets away with it because of this, artificially made conflict. This is the problem with mass blocking. It causes the server to have confusion, not know who it's going to make host, and while it's struggling, stuff like this happens. This leads to accusations of combat logging, because in this case it resolved itself. Soon you'll see it starts taking damage again, which means it's managed to resolve the issue of the peer-to-peer. Get around the blocking and work out who can be host. Right? And he starts to take damage again. It happens quite soon. However, if it's unable to resolve the problem, he would have disappeared from my screen, and I may very well have disappeared from his, which could have led to 2 more accusations of combat logging. And it wouldn't be until you put those clips side by side that you actually see what happened. It's called a de-instance. There's a video I've put up, I will try and link in the description, of me and Selfish having such a thing happen in a fight I was having with a 2v1 where him and his little wingmate were trying to murder me. And there was a de-instance, and on my screen it looked like his wingmate, something had happened to his wingmate, and on his screen it looked like I logged. And then when we put the 2 videos together, it's clearly a de-instance. As you can see, Basti started taking damage. Now, this is nothing he's done wrong. This is nothing you know, he's perfectly fine. It's, you know, perfectly, what he does here is perfectly fine. He escapes, you know, I feel a bit aggrieved because, like, at this point he's in the zone on his drives where he could start getting malfunctions, and had he taken damage from the start, I think I would have got him. But anyway, yeah, there's no need to combat log to get out of a fight. All you have to do is wake away. I mean, that says this.
I don't want to.
When it comes to if you want to fight or not. I mean, I used to fly a Type 7 and a Type 6 and a Type 9, I still do. If someone attacks me in them, I just high wake away, which clearly says I don't want to fight. It's really that simple. There's never a need to combat log when you turn your Xbox off to exit the game, like the leader of this squadron did, and then he's now moaning about it being exposed, even though he was the one who told me to shout out homie. So, you know, he asked for it, he got it, and now he's complaining. But when it comes to the peer-to-peer nature of the network, the obvious benefits are FDev can run this game on basically just one big server, and they don't need to charge us, the player, to, you know, pay for the server costs of a server-based game. The difficulty is you have to rely on the players being a little bit more honourable and exiting the game correctly and not cheating. I don't think personally that's a big ask. Some people do. The leader of his squadron, PGLN, claims that that's my rules, even though we've shown him the quotes from the developers and the fact the developers have said it, and the fact that Xbox has said that, you know, using exploits, and it's a known exploit, is cheating. I've even shown him an article from PC Gamer in a previous video, but still, he's still claiming it's my rules, which it isn't. It's just the rules of FDevs, and the reason it is an exploit is because of the peer-to-peer nature, the hybrid peer-to-peer nature of Elite Dangerous. And I do warn you, if you are going to go down the route of blocking a lot of people, you are going to get a lot of instancing issues. You're going to get a lot of lonely and dark instances. Because, for example, if I'm 2 or 3 systems away, and you've got me blocked, you won't instance with any of the people that are on my friends list, which is around, you know, a couple of hundred of Elite Dangerous players, if not more. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me that you would want to block all the community and then still play an open. I have said to him that if he doesn't like the way open is run, because open is, you know, free for all, you can attack other players, you can pirate other players. If he doesn't like that, then the best thing to do is make a private group with rules that he's established. You know, PvE only, etc, etc. But obviously the leader of PGL does not want to change the way he's thinking of playing an open just because FDev, the developers, have different ideas to him. He's decided that, you know, the game should change its entire structure to suit him because he's that entitled. Yeah, and he's going to unfortunately tell a lot of newbies to block loads of people, which is going to cause an increase in these instancing issues, an increase in accusations of combat logging because of crashes and de-instancing, destabilize the entire game just because of one person's entitlement and ego. It's amazing, really. But anyway, that's all for this video. GGD Bounce T, he's seems like a sound fellow, and that's all. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, and that squadron leader said that I'm too scared to fight his squadron 1v1. So that's another one of his claims proved wrong. That's all. Thanks for watching.